Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to pull out the most valuable insights from different sources, helping you get truly well-informed. Today, we're actually kicking things off with something that sounds, well, almost mundane. Think about making your bed. It's often one of the first things we do, right? Maybe without even thinking much about it. But what if that one tiny action, what if it could actually be a key to changing your life, and maybe even the world? We're taking a deep dive into Admiral William H. McRaven's book, Make Your Bed, Little Things That Can Change Your Life, and maybe the world. And this isn't just about, being tidy. It's really a distillation of these profound life lessons McRaven learned during his intense Navy SEAL training. So our mission today is to explore how these deceptively simple principles, born from military life, offer real practical wisdom for everyday challenges, personal growth, even professional fields like counseling. We've got two key perspectives to guide us. There's a review from Open University Malaysia, OUM, which does a great job connecting McRaven's ideas to psychology and counseling.
And then we have a summary by Sam Thomas Davies, outlining all 10 original lessons straight from McRaven's really impactful commencement speech. We want to give you a shortcut to understanding these powerful concepts so you get those actionable insights quickly without feeling buried in information. So looking at these sources, what's the first thing that jumps out at you about how universal these ideas seem?
Well, it's exactly that universality you just mentioned. That's what's really striking. These lessons come from such a specific high-pressure environment Navy SEAL training, yet they resonate so deeply with, well, fundamental human experiences. The OUM review really nails this. It says, McRaven's lessons are not only practical, but also deeply psychological, echoing strongly with principles found in counseling practice. It just underscores how core these ideas are to personal development, no matter what your background is.
It is fascinating, isn't it, how that kind of military context can produce such broadly applicable wisdom. Let's maybe unpack the very first lesson. It's probably the most famous one. Start your day with a task completed. And that task is making your bed. Davies' summary gives us the direct quote. If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. Seems almost too simple, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, on the surface. But the psychological impact is actually pretty significant. As that OUM review points out, doing this simple thing gives you a real sense of accomplishment right at the start of the day. It's not just about neatness. It's about establishing what psychologists call an internal locus of control. You see, when you successfully complete even a small task you set for yourself, you reinforce this belief that you have some agency, some control over your immediate world. And that feeling of control, it's absolutely foundational for mental well-being.
Okay, so it's like a small win setting the stage.
Exactly. And in counseling, this idea translates directly into things like establishing daily routines or setting small, achievable goals. Think about clients struggling with anxiety or depression. Feelings of helplessness can be overwhelming for them. So these small, self-initiated steps, they can be incredibly empowering. They provide this tangible foundation of control, something to build on as they start tackling bigger challenges.
That explanation of locus of control really clicks. It clarifies how such a small thing can ripple outwards. But, okay, we established that foundation with small wins. What happens when life inevitably shakes it up? Because life isn't just a series of neat accomplishments, is it? McRaven definitely dives headfirst into facing adversity, learning from failure, with that very direct, no-nonsense SEAL approach, right? Like the lesson, life's not fair, drive on. Davies' summary tells that story about the sugar cookie in SEAL training. If a trainee messes up their uniform inspection, they have to go roll around on the beach until they're completely covered in wet sand, a sugar cookie. And McRaven's advice is crystal clear. Don't complain. Don't blame it on your misfortune. Stand tall, look to the future, and drive on. It's really about accepting unfairness and just moving forward.
Yeah, acceptance in action.
And tied closely to that is the idea that failure can make you stronger. Davies brings up the circus. Apparently, that's an extra 2 hours of really intense calisthenics and, well, harassment for anyone who failed a task during training.
It sounds brutal.
It does. But McRaven frames it not just as punishment, but as preparation. Preparation for life's toughest moments. He says, if you persevere, if you let those failures teach you and strengthen you, then you will be prepared to handle life's toughest moments.
And this is really where we see the concept of resilience come alive. It's a cornerstone of counseling, obviously. But it's not just about gritting your teeth and enduring. It's about cultivating a growth mindset. You know, the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, that you can develop them through hard work and dedication.
Right, not just being stuck with what you've got.
Exactly. And counseling practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, work directly on this. CBT helps people identify and change those unhelpful thought patterns, the negative self-talk that often comes with failure. You learn to reframe challenges not as like dead ends, but as opportunities to learn and grow. McRaven's sugar cookie story, perfect example. You can wallow in the wet sand, or you can shake it off and drive on, maybe learning something from it.
So it's about changing your perspective on the setback.
Yes. And also, techniques from acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, are relevant here too. ACT encourages accepting difficult thoughts and feelings rather than fighting them, while still committing to actions that align with your values. Mindfulness practices also help with accepting imperfections and failures as just part of being human, not something shameful to be avoided at all costs. It's really about acknowledging that setbacks will happen. The crucial thing isn't avoiding them, but learning how to respond constructively, how to integrate them without letting them crush your sense of self-worth.
That makes sense. It's about acknowledging reality, including the tough stuff.
But it does raise a question, doesn't it? Is there a point where that intense drive-on mentality could maybe push someone too far, maybe lead to suppressing emotions that actually need processing?
That's a really crucial point, finding that balance. Because, yeah, burying emotions isn't strength, is it? True strength often involves acknowledging and working through them. And maybe finding that balance brings us neatly to another key theme in McRaven's lessons: connection. The strength we find in others. He's very clear. You can't go at it alone. Davies' summary gives us another great quote for this one. If you want to change the world, find someone to help you paddle. Such a powerful image. Even in SEAL training, which seems so individualistic, teamwork and support are vital for survival and success.
Oh, absolutely fundamental. This idea isn't just military, it's deeply human. And in counseling, this expands out to cover all our relational dynamics. Think about family therapy or group therapy. The whole premise is that supportive relationships are critical for emotional health and growth.
Right, leveraging the group.
Exactly. Counselors actively work with clients to strengthen their social networks, encourage them to seek support, to collaborate, to understand that sharing burdens actually makes them lighter. It directly mirrors McRaven saying, your success depends on others. It's recognizing that interdependence isn't weakness, it's a profound strength. It fights isolation, builds trust, and gives you way more resources for tackling challenges.
It's amazing how these threads connect individual resilience, mindset, and now the power of connection. It's not just about surviving alone, but thriving together, which naturally leads into the kind of courage and, well, sheer perseverance needed to push beyond what you think your limits are. McRaven talks about needing to dare greatly, and his absolute #1 lesson: never ever quit. Let's take "you must dare greatly" first. He uses this really vivid image from training, having to slide down the obstacle head first.
Ooh, sounds risky.
Right. It's about pushing past fear of failure, hardship, even embarrassment. He argues that if you don't dare greatly, you'll never know what is truly possible in your life. It's about taking that calculated risk, that leap.
Trusting yourself enough to try.
Exactly. And then comes what he calls his most important lesson: never, ever quit. Davies' summary really emphasizes this. McRaven's message is blunt. Don't ever, ever ring the bell. In SEAL training, ringing a brass bell means you're giving up. You're out. He acknowledges quitting often looks like the easier path, especially when things feel impossible. But he firmly believes resilience is what makes life meaningful, makes it great. If you refuse to give up on your dreams, he says, life becomes what you make it, and you can make it great.
And this speaks directly to fostering intrinsic motivation, that internal drive that's such a huge focus in personal development and, naturally, in counseling. Techniques like motivational interviewing, for example. It's all about helping clients find their own reasons, their own internal drive to make changes and pursue meaningful goals. It's not about the counselor telling them what to do.
Finding their why.
Precisely. Finding their why so they can push through when things get tough. Just like McRaven urges against ringing that bell. It's about tapping into that inner strength to move past perceived limits, both physical and mental. The OUM review highlights this too-determined effort is a constant theme, aligning perfectly with guiding clients toward achieving difficult goals. It reinforces that real growth often demands that kind of relentless effort, pushing through discomfort to see what's possible.
Absolutely. It's that deep-seated reason to keep going when every fiber wants to stop. And these lessons, they aren't just for personal survival, are they? They also touch on impacting others, rising to the occasion, and maybe most importantly, giving hope. McRaven shares this powerful advice he got from a chief petty officer during a really grueling exercise. The officer said, "Tonight you will have to be your very best. You must rise above your fears, your doubts, and your fatigue." Yeah. No matter how dark it gets, you must complete the mission. This is what separates you from everyone else. It's a stark call to confront those truly dark moments. Find that strength inside, not just to endure, but actually to excel.
To be your best when it matters most.
Exactly. And then finally, a lesson that feels like it lifts the whole philosophy. Give people hope. He uses this incredible image.
The singing in the mud one.
That's the one. Start singing when you're up to your neck in mud. It's about lifting others up, putting on a brave face, maybe even just a smile, giving them hope that tomorrow can be better, even when everything feels utterly hopeless.
Yeah, that's where these lessons really move beyond just individual grit, isn't it? They step into the realm of leadership, of inspiring those around you, the ripple effect you can have. Because even when you're struggling profoundly yourself, the act of offering hope to someone else, it can be incredibly powerful, not just for them, but for you too. It can give you purpose, perspective when you feel like you have nothing left. It really speaks to our capacity for empathy, for shared strength. It shows how your determination can genuinely become a light for others walking through the same darkness.
A beacon, like you said.
Exactly. It reminds us that sometimes the most courageous thing isn't just enduring, but offering that glimmer of light to someone else.
This deep dive has really shown how Admiral McRaven's lessons, rooted in military discipline, offer such practical, psychologically rich insights for all of us. Resilience, motivation, teamwork, growth. Both the OUM review and the Davies summary make it so clear how universally applicable these are. They're not just abstract ideas, they really are actionable strategies you can weave into daily life. They remind us that big changes often start small, with consistency and the courage to face challenges head-on ideally, with others paddling alongside you. So as we wrap up today, here's something to think about. Considering everything we've explored, from making your bed to singing in the mud, what's one small, maybe seemingly insignificant action you could take right now? An action that might just start a ripple effect, not only in your own life, but maybe, just maybe, in the lives of those around you too.